Hello everybody, how you doing? So I'll tell you what. I've been cooking today, and because of that, the side effect was that I was also listening to random things that were playing on YouTube. So apparently some dude came on to Tucker Carlson and he had earned the title the most amazing historian, according to Tucker Carlson, except he's not an historian, but deeds. I'm not gonna judge or think, to be honest. Anyway, so the conversation got going, and apparently Churchill is bad, Hitler was a hero, and there was this question: how much do people today, how much do they learn, or how do they understand the event that called the Holocaust? So I wanted to have a convo with you guys, just hearing you all. What are your thoughts? It's actually an open conversation. I'm kind of curious. For me, it was a journey because I've made the anti-Semitism video. You know, I made the anti-Semitism video, and there I discovered. I felt like the narrative that we are being taught. I feel like I sound so woke when I say it like that, or like I don't know, like the right-wing woke or whatever. It's like that the narrative that is being taught is lacking, to say the least. But then it also takes a lot of life experience to even understand, and not always, right? It you need to be unlucky in like I want to say you need to be lucky to have the right life experience to understand like how wrong the human brain can go. But to be honest, like I would say it's more unlucky, unless you are just a genius and you learn it from the via observation and books. But I don't know. I feel real life tends to be more effective. So real life, and then wait, what did I just saw? I'm gonna have to study about it. That's my kind of motivation anyway. I'm not smart enough to um, know what I'm supposed to be searching before I know it exists anyway. So here, let me see. Let me go. There are a few. Hi, Investory. Yes, smash the like button, everybody. It's free. It is free. It is free. Subscription is free. Like buttons are free. Share is also free. Everything is free of charge, and it helps a lot. Привет. So,
She's gone.
hey.
Okay. Hello again.
Hi,
Glad we
how you
worked out those.
doing? Yes,
Good.
please do.
Let's jump
Yes, let's
right
jump in,
into.
please.
Okay. So, my background is I'm from the United States. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I learned about the Holocaust because of the Jehovah's Witnesses who had been through the Holocaust in Germany and had sort of relayed their story in the early 1930s. They relate the story to other Jehovah's Witnesses around the world, and the way I was taught was it was all about um, religious integrity and integrity in the face of a great political and militaristic evil, and how to like keep your faith, keep your morality, and even in the face of death. And that's how I learned about the Holocaust. It was sort of like model, the model Jehovah's Witness type of ideal of sharing your faith and being true to your beliefs despite whatever happens to you or your family. And that's how I learned about the Holocaust.
Mm. Is it via the Jehovah Witness perspective?
Yes, it's a Jehovah's Witness perspective. So from the perspective of the Jehovah's Witnesses at the time,
Mm-hmm.
the Aryan German Jehovah's Witnesses clearly, I mean, they weren't Jewish. Clearly, they were just German citizens, Polish citizens who lived in Germany. And at the time, they would produce the Golden Age magazine in Bethel, Germany, where their factory was, and they had congregations there in Germany. And once Hitler came to power, once he changed the laws to suit his authority and he became the state changed the constitution, how easily like after the fire, the Rogstad fire in Germany, how quickly the laws changed to suit a dictatorship, and
Mm-hmm.
how quickly all religions, and it was just all religions, but all non-orthodox religions came under fire, like Jehovah's Witnesses and like other smaller religions in the under German rule, how they became under fire and were considered either communistic or quote unquote enemies of the state. So I've always, even though I'm no longer Jehovah's Witness, this is it today, I've always had a special appreciation for um, how easy it is to slip for countries and rulers to slip into and societies. Really, it wasn't just but how easy it is for societies to slip into this sort of totalitarianism of thought, and how easy it is for people to go lockstep with their government or their political propaganda.
And
It was like,
how,
go ahead.
yeah, how did you, so were you in like a school, Jehovah Witness school or something?
Yeah, so Jehovah's Witnesses, they study like publications that are produced from the quote unquote governing body. And some of those publications, they talk about the history of the organization and the
No, I mean,
persecution.
was it your school? Or how,
What do you mean?
like,
Was it my
where
school?
you said you went and studied about it? Is it because you
Yes,
went to Jehovah Witness, like high school or
yes.
school?
It's more of a yeah. It's called a theocratic ministry school, but for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, yeah. Jehovah's Witnesses, Jehovah's Witnesses, they learn about these topics on their free time.
So, okay.
It-
So it was, and did you go to like college later?
yes,
Like some place that is not, that doesn't have the Jehovah Witness value system, for example.
yeah, yes.
And did you get to have a conversation about it?
Well, because Jehovah's Witnesses aren't that numerous, especially in the United States, it's more so conversations online about it.
What did you study, if it's okay to ask?
Oh, engineering at
All right.
Florida.
Yes, I guess the Holocaust is not something that you bring up between lessons.
No, like hardly, like no one, everyone associates the Holocaust to Jews
Mm-hmm.
clearly because of the massive numbers of Jews who were persecuted. But it'd be
I think
relatively easy.
also, I think also because of the obsession levels, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, it's the level in which the Jews were killed that's why it's
No, I mean,
rightfully.
I'm just not sure if just the killing or just the obsessive, like obsessive thinking around Jews. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, like for instance, I'll give you an example. Only about 8,000 Jehovah's Witnesses were murdered and a couple and imprisoned and persecuted in
Right.
Germany. It was a very small number.
Mm-hmm.
Jews, it was clearly millions of people. It was
Yeah.
maybe thousands of gay people, and maybe tens of thousands of Polish people, and tens of thousands of criminals or political dissidents. And it's associated with Jews because they were the highest on the death. They had the highest death rate of any other population.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's I also feel like maybe it was where the most obsession was. Maybe because otherwise you could also say like they had persecuted everyone who had not agreed to, like, who didn't fit to their agenda, let's say.
Correct. Correct. Any groups that didn't fit their agenda of totalitarian, like national socialism,
Right.
then you had to go. You had to be. silence. You have to silence, be silenced. You need to submit by signing over like a letter of loyalty to
Mhm.
the regime, or you would need to leave. And this is
Oh,
like 1930. This is like
so they had a
1933.
choice, in a
Yes,
sense.
Jehovah's Witnesses, because they're German, they're Aryan Germans.
Mhm.
The ones who those had the choice. They were asked, hey, just stop preaching this fringe religion. Sign the paper
Mm,
that you accept the fatherland,
right.
allegiance to the fatherland, and say do the Nazi salute, and you'll be fine. Just fall in line. And many of them weren't
So they
willing to
got a
do that.
pass because of their genetic composition, right?
Well, they got the option for that. Yeah,
Mm,
they had the option
yeah,
because they're ethnically German. Many of
right.
them, most of
And
them.
how does it feel like when you encounter like the racial ideology? Like I kind of wonder, how can a person that would not have passed the racial qualifiers of that regime, how come now is hearing people who support them even though they clearly don't pass the basic mark of being included?
Because it's not about Jews in their mind. It's not, they don't think about the racial aspect of the Nazi regime.
So it's
They
only
think
about
about
Jews.
it's only about the othering that Jews experience, right? It's only about the massacring and the othering that Jews experience, because that's
Yep.
all they really know. Most don't really know the other, like it was basically all the unwanted people, or the foreign ideas. It's all foreign ideas must go. It's not about it wasn't specifically about the Jews. It was
Right.
just all foreign dissonant ideas must be wiped out, and that's what people don't realize. It's not really because it's because they were Jewish, but not necessarily, right? It just became the largest group. It just happened to be the largest populous group in the country. Happened to be Jews, and they did not fall in line with the Nazi regime, and it also had some families, specific families, had large amounts of political and economic power, and that's why the issue is framed to the Jews. But it could happen. It could happen anywhere. It could
I mean,
happen
it happened.
anywhere.
It happened recently, didn't it? With the Tutsi, as
Of
like
course.
they use the same tactics in that sense. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yes. It's the othering.
in
It's the
Rwanda.
othering, the propaganda, and the blame, and the constant pressure to fall in line with the national party, and
Yeah.
it could happen anywhere. It could happen in China, right? It's happening. I mean, it can happen in America. With the chant. Like now, the current chant right now is "Free Palestine," and
Mm-hmm.
some people know what that means, and some people just repeat it like a parrot, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they all look the same when they face their supreme leader, Sinwar. It all looks the same from Sinwar's view. It's compliance. Compliance is it looks the same, whether you know what an intifada is or you don't. Like you have Americans screaming things they don't understand, or people from all over the world, from India, Indonesia, they're just repeating things almost as if it's a greeting. Like the Nazi salute it went from good morning in German to Nazi salute. That what they replaced the common. That's what when people start replacing common English words like good morning with a pledge of allegiance to a leader, it becomes a big problem. And when people start greeting you online on video chat platforms like Omegle TV with free Palestine, it really echoes that same vibe of I need to make sure before I have a conversation with you whether what your political ideas are. But yeah, that's where I
It's
am.
no, I mean it's I love your take, to be honest. Like I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
I just wonder
Uh,
if you got to talk about it with others. Where what was your impression? Is your understanding unique? Are you a unique human person? And I'll be
yes,
honest, I don't even know
uh,
what Jehovah Witnesses really are, just for the record.
uh, right.
I mean, I
That's
heard the name, but I don't know. I know they're like preaching, and I know they go door from door, but I just always imagine them as like uh, scouts, like those who sell cookies.
uh, you're not completely wrong. But yeah, like I don't know anything. I don't know much about Jews to be honest. I don't. I'm not that. I never was that interested. So it's fair. It's a fair question. Um, I guess I would say I'm of the rare group that understands how. I think I'm of a rare. I'm a rare individual because I have that sort of history lesson
Mm-hmm.
ingrained from religion that
Right.
it like men are it's like I'm agnostic toward the system of power. Like Jehovah's Witnesses, for instance, I'll give you an example. Jehovah's
Are
Witnesses
you?
don't salute.
Can I ask
Go,
like something that would
of course.
be, I think, more on a personal level in American
Go,
standards? But
go
what
ahead.
what are your feelings towards Jehovah Witnesses now? I think you
Now,
said yeah.
sure. I no longer follow that faith, and I don't associate with any Jehovah's Witnesses today, including
Mm-hmm.
my family members. Um,
Oh.
because because I was able to research the faith, and it's very much so a not to get off too far off topic, but it's very
Right.
much so a end times religion, and
Mm-hmm.
they promote their publications, and they try to promote this sense of urgency, sort of like salesmanship. Like I'm making a
Mm-hmm.
joke of it, but it's like the sale ends. You know, this world is ending. It's like a fire sale on the world type of religion. Like this world's ending. Learn
And
about
then
God
what?
now, or be erased type of deal.
Right.
We can talk about that a different day. Don't want to
Yeah,
swerve
I
too far
think
off topic.
so. Yeah, it's a weird it's a different psychology, I guess.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a cult, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay, so you feel it like it's a cult, right? Now?
Yes, yes.
And do you see it as a dangerous cult or just a
No, it's a dangerous cult. It's it's not a dangerous cult because it doesn't have any political aspirations, and the and members don't look for power. They're not looking to have people to submit by force. They voluntarily go into ministry. They voluntarily ask for Bible study. Everything that they do is voluntary. They don't seek to subvert government or oppress people in their relative nations. It's a mostly benign.
mm-hmm. And
Um,
yeah, that is did the change of that perception that you had about what Jehovah Witnesses are change the way you viewed what happened to them during the Holocaust?
no, because on the level because it's more and I'm not saying that they're good, but I'm saying they have a moral integrity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even when I was young, we I believe that because of religion, we don't pledge allegiance to anything but God. So things like saluting the flag and things like saluting military officials or singing songs of allegiance to a country, those were considered um, things that we didn't do. We didn't participate in those types of practices. To that point, Jehovah's Witnesses had this sort of moral integrity, I'll call it, that we didn't give our allegiance to any man made systems of government. We participated and
Mm-hmm.
gave respect, but we didn't give them like this sort of patriotic allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
like you would in a nationalist country.
Right. S- Okay. So it didn't cloud your judgment. That's what you're saying.
Right. It made some things clearer.
Mm-hmm.
To me that like from that standpoint, the never never prioritize the needs of the nation before your own. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. Um, it's interesting. So one question that I have, but I think you said that the only way you had the experience of talking about it with other people was online, right? Not like real life to life conversations.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of stumped here because I wonder. I said it sounds like your view is kind of rare, but well, okay. So somebody else is. I'm gonna invite them. Thank you so much for. I loved your perspective. I have nothing to add.
No
Hey,
problem.
Chroma.
Later. Thank you.
Later. Thank you. Hey,
Shalom, shalom, Rebecca. How you doing today?
good, good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Ups and downs. Um, One thing I want to say is, though I do very much appreciate his perspective. It's always good to get different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
I think the view that the Holocaust was not mainly about killing Jews is, as far as who they were killing and torturing, that was the main people being persecuted, not only by the numbers, not only because of circumstance. Like, he had a hate that he had been writing about for many years, and if he hadn't been writing and campaigning for hating Jews, he never even would have met Hitler. Never even would have met the people that put him in the position he was in to get where he got. So that was very much a theme of his political rise and one of his goals. And when the end of the war was coming and he saw he was going to lose, they didn't make anything in the camps about killing everybody. They specifically said, kill all the Jews before the Russians get here. So,
Yeah.
like, though, yes, other people were hurt and persecuted, and I don't want to take away from their suffering, and I don't want to take away from the fact that somewhere just under one third may have not been Jewish, but our people were persecuted in a specific way that during that time. And it's important to remember not only the Holocaust, but all the massacres, pogroms, exiles that have been coming since the year zero. And it's so important for us as Jewish people, in my opinion, because we need to be ready to fight for ourselves and each other all the time.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask. Don't you feel like it's confiscating a higher truth?
Say that again.
Like this focus on why is it important to focus on the Jewish? I mean, it is a important thing to acknowledge. Actually, you know what? Convince me, please. Why is it important?
Well, I'm saying it's for us, it's important, and for our
Yeah.
allies, it's important
Okay.
because there are millions, there are more than 10 times the population of all of us on the planet want us to be
So
wiped out and extinct.
okay. So
So the only way to survive is to be ready to survive. That's the whole idea of never again. The
yeah,
whole
but
idea
that's
of we have to be ready to fight, because if we don't fight, we will be slaughtered.
yeah, but why is it important on the external front?
What do you mean by the external front?
I mean, the person before, like he grew up as a Jehovah Witness, and I think that that perspective had given him the tools that are needed to see what's like right from wrong. So why? And I get it, like it's not like it's just numbers and just in general it was against like very much against the Jews, but why is it so important to focus on? I mean,
Because they haven't given up. Because there's at least 400 million in this people on this planet who want all of us dead right now, who want me dead, who want my mother dead, who want my brother dead.
yeah,
There
but they
are at
want
least 400.
yeah, but they
So to
want
not
to
know that
Yeah, but they want the Hindus dead, and they want the Christians dead, and they want the infidels dead.
Oh no. See that not 400 million because all these groups are part of these groups. There are groups of Christians who want us dead. It's like it's at least 2% of Christians. It's at least 20% of Islam. It's at least it. There's all kinds of groups who want to wipe us off the face of the earth to the
Yeah, but
point
that's
that
our problem, isn't it?
Was Nick Fuente was working with Arabic people that he would normally say he hates because they hate us more. We have to be ready because every century we have the gall to say, oh, not again this century, that was last century. Oh, not again this century, that was last century. And every time that we're not ready for it, we get demolished.
Okay, so
To survive, it is either kill or be killed.
okay, so how would you prepare for that?
Well, one thing we have right now that's so important is Israel. It's our heartbeat. It's the reason why we haven't had massacres everywhere else in the world in a long fucking time. It's because they know no matter what they do to the diaspora, to the rest of us, our heartbeat, half our population is there and defended by an army. So they focus on trying to destroy that and they don't care about the rest of us as much. If that's not there, they focus on the rest of us. So a big
Okay,
part of our defense is having a country and an army. If we don't have that, we
so how
die.
would you
So
have that?
we have that now.
Do you
How
live
I'm
in
saying we need
Israel?
to continue that. I live in America. I'm currently trying to make Aliyah. They said I'm too old to join the IDF, although I've made some emails and calls trying to see about an exception.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 39. I
Mm-hmm.
honestly was way too selfish of a person when I was younger, and I
Mm-hmm.
finally had the call to stop being selfish and care about the people who have been protecting me and allowed me to live my selfish life. I got to enjoy a life without pogroms, without persecution, of being able to be a proud Jewish person. I was a selfish person who was doing a lot of dumb stuff when I was young. I went to prison. I got out. When I first got out, it wasn't even a thought that I could go to Israel. I thought because of my record. And then as I found out more recently and started thinking in a better light and stop being so selfish, I'm like, I need to stop just benefiting from something. It's my turn to give back. I've been benefiting from it without doing anything for way too long.
Okay, right. So, okay, so we're all fighting, we're all in the army, but to get weapons and to get, having not getting arms embargoed and things like that, that's not that simple.
Oh, it's not simple. You're right. There's a lot of things we have to do, and my point is remembering is simply important. Not simply remembering. One of the reasons remembering is so important is because we
Mm.
have to continue to do these things. We have to, like I'm so ashamed that I didn't do things when I was younger, that I was so selfish. And we need to not be that way. We need to not be the past me, and I need to find a way to do more to be a part of our survival. And as a people, it doesn't always take all of us, but a lot of us have to be doing it. Otherwise, there historically it looks like otherwise we would be wiped out.
Okay, so at, how old were you when you realized that the Arabs and the Nazis have the same ideology?
uh, I was paranoid about it when I was very young. Again, I was selfish, not that I wasn't conscious or aware. I used to actually tell adults when I was, before I was even a teenager, I don't remember exactly how old, but like when
Mm-hmm.
I was learning about the history growing up and when I was learning about everything that's happened since the year zero, I was saying to my parents and other people, like, y'all know it's probably going to happen again this century, right? History doesn't repeat itself 19 times, not to do it a 20th. It's like y'all know something's gonna happen. It may be bigger or smaller, it's different, but like shit's gonna hit the fan. And people kept telling me, no, that was the past. It could never happen. I was like, it could be America, it could be Europe, it could be Israel itself. But it's like the so I've understood that there are people trying to wipe us out for a long time. I didn't necessarily understand the specific connections of like the Mufti meeting with Hitler or things like that, but I understood both groups wanted to wipe us out, even though I didn't know they had history of working together.
But did you know why they wanted to do it?
Well, that's a really long answer, in my opinion. But if you want to look at the first step, I would say how much Rome hated Jewish
No,
people.
I'm asking you, did you
Um,
know why? Not what is the
oh,
why.
oh, you mean when I was a child? No, I did not quite understand the why. I
So
just
it was it
understood.
on the
I
instinctual
understood some
level.
of the why, very very much more surface level, but I understood the mathematical probability.
All right. Just by pattern recognition.
Yes, it was pattern recognition. Look at history, look at now, every century, especially since the 14th century, they said, oh, not again this century. There's no way. We're new people now. There's no way. And people truly believed it. And it brainwashed us into being docile every century. So it was so easy to crush us every century. So I think it's important for us to remember so we're not docile and we continue having an army so we don't make the mistake of saying, well, even if Israel doesn't exist, we'll just go other places and we'll be fine. We'll just move. We can't give into that, type. We have to remember so we continue to support, fight, whatever it is you do. Like whether it might be someone simply everywhere they go talking to other Jewish people so they know to support Israel. And then some of those other people can support with money. And some of those people support soldiers who get better equipment so then they don't die and they keep fighting. You know what I mean? It's about everyone doing their part. And it takes remembering that we are, if we don't do that constantly, we will be in an existential crisis.
Okay. How do you break that pattern though? Are you saying like
I
having
don't know how to
Israeli?
break it.
You don't know how to break it.
I wish I was smart enough for some genius. I know we have to be aware and we have to be ready and we have to have each other's backs and we have to fight for each other. I don't know the solution to stop it from happening, but I'm hoping if we work hard enough and get enough allies and enough of our allies work with us, that we can hopefully stop it from happening. I don't know the actual step by step. I wish I was that smart.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the pers- prospect, okay? So on your, like you guys kind of complete each other, you and the guy before, like the because on you focus on the Jewish people on and the lesson for the Jewish people, and he understands the spirituality and psychology behind it in a sense.
And it's not that I disagree with him on most of what he said. I absolutely agree with most of what he said. I just disagreed with the one thing that there wasn't a particular emphasis on
Oh no, he
Jewish
didn't say
people.
that.
If I understood, like
I don't think he
like
said it.
before he even started, okay, I thought he was saying the biggest goal was getting rid of things that were against the nationalist perspective, and Jews just happened to be that group that wouldn't give in. But they wouldn't even allow Jews to give in. It wasn't even an option. If you were Jewish, they didn't care whether you were an atheist or if you became a Buddhist or a Christian or even a Muslim. They didn't give a fuck. If you were Jewish, their priority was to exterminate you, use you how they could in the meantime until they couldn't use you anymore and then exterminate you, or if it was more convenient, exterminate you right away. So there was no option. Yes, the other people were included because they also wanted to get rid of anything that was against their nationalist perspective. They also wanted to do that. But as a first priority, they wanted to eliminate Jewish people. It was written about by Hitler before he nearly came into power.
The way you describe it, like you putting Jews at the same. I'm sorry to say it like that, but like the Roma, you know, the Roma that were also exterminated. I don't think they had an option to convert.
I mean, there are other groups. You're right. There are other groups. I was
But
thinking
then,
particularly of when he spoke about the Jehovah Witnesses who had the option to change perspective. But you're right. I didn't think about the other groups. I was only thinking about the one other group that he was mentioning. That is a mistake of mine for not taking that more perspective.
yeah, I think that's what I'm like thinking. Like I understand, like yeah, every nation, every people have to protect themselves. It's minorities are being targeted things when things go crazy. But that is true for the Copts, for the Yazidis, for the Assyrians, for the Roma, for the everyone. So it's like an ever looming threat. But I do think that the Jehovah Witness example was important because Jews fall into both categories. They are being ideologically persecuted.
And yes, that they've all fall into both
As
categories. We were
as
being both. We were being like tripled though. It was ideological, but it was also cultural, and it was also genetic. So it was like a three for the Jewish people. It was a all three were a problem for that regime.
yeah, I just I think to break to make it stop, obviously you have to. I always think in a sense like yes, like the Jews have suffered in Europe, but there aren't that many minorities, like genuine minorities in Europe, you know? Like they all became Christian. Like there aren't any pagans. There aren't any not I mean, at least in appearance, right? They had changed.
Yeah, even the ones who keep some very small amount of Nordic tradition still
Right.
culturally are Christian. So I
Yeah.
feel what you're saying. Absolutely.
So it's I also like emphasizing that yes, the Holocaust was, but also maybe that was the natural craziness slip. Let me like I don't know how to describe it, but it's also the spiritual element that made us different in a sense. I don't know, just
I mean, there's definitely a lot of aspects to it, and you're definitely right that my viewpoint is very Jewish centric. I mean, probably because from a very young age I was paranoid about the next massacre coming, and I didn't know where and when. So it's been a big part of my psyche since I was a child, since I was
I
a
get
young
it.
child, and so yes, my perspective is probably skewed by that. But I don't think that makes the perspective incorrect, even if it's not the full picture.
Um, yeah, I it just also the feeling I got, interacting with American Jews is that there is so much focus on the Holocaust. It's almost like it blinds like it hides all other aspects,
And well, for me, it wasn't just the Holocaust, though. Of course, that's like my
like
mother's side of my
the
family was there during
existential,
that time. And oh, my bad. What'd you say?
like the existential, like
The existential threat of it,
yeah,
the idea of the existential threat, and it is from the Holocaust, yes, and yes, that's probably closer to my psychological trauma of it or whatever that comes from my mother, that comes from her family came from over there and came to America during that time, fleeing the Holocaust. So yes, that does have a closer thing to me, but it's when what really created the idea of a potential existential crisis for us coming back wasn't that isolated event. It was looking at the centuries before it, and it's like, oh shit, this century it was here, and that century is here, and that century it was only a few thousand here, here, and here, but it was in 20 different places. You know what I mean? And it's like not literally 20, but it was in a bunch of different places, and it was that realization that history supported the repeat of it that created that idea in my mind of this is very likely to occur again. I don't know at which level, but the likelihood of it not occurring again just seems low. Um, and so yes, that's when I became, as you said, existential, like you say a lot of American Jews are, and maybe we are. But I think for me, it's much more than the Holocaust. It's everything behind it since around the year zero.
yeah, but that makes me feel like like then if it's all that you know that it makes sense for some Jews be like, try to hide among the nations, because like that is also a way to defend yourself.
And though I try not to judge and have understanding for those who do, I don't agree with it. I don't believe in
Why?
it. I don't like it. I remember.
Why?
I remember. Okay, this for an example. When I would have days off from school, when my mother went to Norfolk State University when I was young, she dragged me there. And when she was there, she would hide the fact that she was Jewish because she found out some of the professors were there were very anti-Semitic, and that made me feel so ashamed and hurt inside. I I don't feel like that's okay. I don't feel like hiding it for me. I'm not saying for others. I understand people get scared. I understand people survival instinct. So I try not to have any judgment towards another person. But I think there's a lot of people like me. And for us, for those of us who can stand on our own too and are ready to do whatever we need to, I think it's not okay to just hide, at least for myself. I would
Okay.
feel shame in that. And I've been very proud since a very young age.
Oh, okay, but here's the thing. I feel like there are prerequisites, like, because we are born with a certain temperament. And I feel like learning about the Holocaust the way you did only invokes, like, only just makes you follow your temperament, whether it's be insisting on your identity or trying to hide. And, it's a fight or flight reaction.
I don't disagree with you, but I think that's human nature.
It is, but that means that it's up to the temperament. Like it's 50, like it's not, you cannot, it's like 50-50. It's like if you're more of a flight person, then you're gonna go that way. If you're more of a fight person, you're gonna go that way.
Yeah, I feel you.
But that,
I don't disagree at all.
but my issue, that fundamentally is not understanding why and what you fight for. Like, why not hide? If it's not, if their ego is not involved, if it's not a matter of pride, if you take that away, if you're like, oh, everybody else can do it but I cannot, who do you think you are, kind of attitude, let's say you have no ego.
Well, as a side note, I'm someone who doesn't think ego is necessarily a bad thing as long as it's in
Oh,
balance.
I don't think it's a bad
Um,
thing. I think it's a it's healthy. It, depends on, but it's not a bad instinct at all, right? To do that. I'm just saying, let's just for the sake of it, remove the ego.
for the sake of argument,
Yeah.
but now removing the ego, I think there's still two issues. One, that's living a life without. How do I put it? It's not servitude, but what's the word I'm looking for? It's living a life in so many constraints. You're in a mental prison beyond what normal society already puts people in mental prison. It's an extreme mental prison to have to change who you are culturally to hide. I know many of our people have done it. I know there's the crypto term comes from it. And
Mm-hmm.
again, understand why people do it. But that's a terrible prison to live in. And if I care anything about me and my family, and to me, Jewish people are my family, it's mishpacha. We are one people, no matter where we've been scattered. That's my way of looking at it. I understand others have different ways. And to me, to not only have to live that way myself, but to see my mother have to live that way, to see other of my people who don't want to live that way to have to live that way, it doesn't. To me, that's not an okay thing to accept. That's one. And two, we've seen in the past that hiding works for some and not for others. So you're basically playing a bingo game, not bingo, a raffle ticket game. Do we really care about each other so little that we all just try and hide and scatter? And then it's just a raffle ticket game to see which half of us get to hide and which half of us get wiped out? That's
Okay, I'm gonna use
that's what happened and you
oh
I
my god,
apologize, I'm getting emotional.
don't worry. I'm gonna use crown again because I want to stress the importance of the spiritual side. Oh, here is adding. Manga, I was about to mention you without you in the conversation, but I guess you joined it. I was about to say something. Can I please? I'm sorry, I'm gonna use you. I apologize ahead of time for making a point. So let's say go through life and you are part of just like the Jehovah Witnesses that were persecuted, and then you understand that this is actually you're being in a cult, and then you decide to mingle with others in a sense. That's healthy. That's not a bad reason to live and become one of the others.
And I have so much respect for him. We've talked on Discord before. He seems
But
like a really great guy from everything I can tell, and I have so much
no,
respect
but
for
I
him
say
being able to
that
get
because if
beyond
you
mental
apply it
prison.
on Judaism, does it apply to you with Judaism, with being Jewish?
Well,
Because
I,
obviously you were, I mean, no offense, I'm judging them too, like the Jews who hide among others. Like there is something
it doesn't
fundamentally
apply.
different.
Can I
But
mention?
it's
Yeah,
Hold on, can
yeah.
I mention
yeah.
one thing? So it's like because I'm no longer of Jehovah's Witness, clearly, but I still
Mm-hmm.
have what I call a secular Christianity about me that I still carry forward. It's like I didn't discard everything I learned. So it's more like as a I don't know. Obviously, I'm
But
not
would
talking
you
about
marry
Christianity.
somebody who is an atheist or somebody that is out of your Jehovah Witness club or
Uh,
would you
yeah, yes, but it would be more of so they share my value set, not necessarily my religion. And that's the
right?
important part. Like it's like can Jews can can it's not about sort of being Jewish or not Jewish. It's almost
Mm-hmm.
like anyone can be pro-Israel and anyone can be a Zionist. You don't have to necessarily be a Jew to be a Zionist. Does that make sense? And
Yeah,
anyone can say never forget, and none of their family are Jewish, and none of their family are even associated with the Holocaust. You can still hold these values as a person, as an individual, as a community, or what have you. And I think the point that Rebecca's trying to maybe mention to Chrome is it's not unique to Jewish people when these totalitarian ideas crop up. And right now it's Islam, but 100 years from now it could be some other thing. It just can
I
we all
no, I
can we
just want
all
to like to be completely honest, right? Jews don't don't usually do it out of they think they don't want to be Jewish, right? They take preservation to hide, but rarely it is. I mean, some are, right? But like there is a lot of love towards Judaism and Jews in Jewishness, I feel like, which a lot of times is like it feels more forced. Yeah, when somebody is doing that from an ideological perspective, they checked out the value system and they decided to live, then yeah, good for them. But Jews
One
have
th-
been fighting for something because they believe in the value system they have been representing. That's what I feel. And this is why I say if you only focus on the existential aspect of it, you miss out why the Jews had been fighting for all this time. And that is also sort of this is disrespect.
uh, I do want to say because I've talked to Steve before, so he knows this, but I don't think we've had this conversation. I'm religiously agnostic. I'm Jewish. I'm a Jew because I was born a Jew. I'm culturally a Jew, and I believe in our culture and our people. I'm not.
Yeah,
It's not because I believe in a particular religious belief. I want to mention that,
you don't
and I
have
also
to.
want to say,
I mean,
Steve, that
it's
yes, I
also
know other people can be.
contradictory to Judaism.
You're like this. I'm an Assyrian. We have like there's some cultural Assyrians as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah, please talk.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Please present your perspective. I would love to hear it as an Assyrian person.
As sorry, as my what?
You said you're Assyrian?
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, I'm born in Sweden, right? So, but
Uh-huh.
I was raised probably more secular, and then when I was like 18, I started to like look into religion. Like I became Christian, and since that, I've been like, it's always been back and forth. That's life, right? And I always question the Assyrians, like, why don't they believe? They're not. I mean, they're not so religious, right? There's some of them, but they're more like some, culture, very cultural.
Could you
That's how
tell
I feel.
could you tell us, do you know more about the sort of like cultural Holocaust that's occurring in Assyria right now with the
Oh, you mean?
destruction of
Oh yeah,
the
that's sad. That makes me so angry. Like if you go to Nineveh, right, or Iraq, like they destroy all the monuments. Ugh, it's so sad, man. Like people want to preserve them.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's really sad what's happened, right? I mean, we have some of the art, like if you go to Britain, you have some of the, you can look at, if you go to the museum, you can see some of the artifacts, but I'm not that much into that. It's a cool history,
Yeah, but like imagine like changing your you don't have to, like here's my thing with Christianity. Same with the some sects of Judaism. I don't believe in God, but I believe in Judaism and Jews. Like
Oh,
and
interesting.
the ideology.
But it's like, what are your reasons, I mean, for not believing in God? Like,
I don't care.
oh, you're just
I
like
literally don't
indifferent.
care. Like if
Would
I told you,
anything,
like if Jesus comes down to me and says,
yeah,
"Hey, I'm the Son of God," and I can clearly see that he's the Son of God, I'll tell him, "Good for you," and will change nothing.
but that's, I mean, that's so interesting. I can't, that means you're denying like the so obvious, like,
No, I
if that
wouldn't
actually
deny. I'd
happened,
be like, "Sure, you're the Son of God. I believe you. I'll
yeah.
continue my life. I don't care."
But then you would end up, I mean, if hell in heaven exists, right? I know you don't believe in it, but then, there would be
I don't
consequences.
believe that a God that forcing me to worship them is anything but a tyrant.
Yeah, I don't believe God forces
So
anyone. Like
I'll just
everyone has
live in
free
hell.
will,
This
right?
is where I belong. So this is where I'll go.
Yeah, but I don't think you deserve hell.
Well, I hope that Jesus that would come down and be like wouldn't think so either.
Yeah, I
See,
mean,
this is what I'm saying. I wouldn't change a thing. So it's an
Love it.
hypocritical, ironic question for me.
I don't understand.
Oh,
Like,
that was a great response.
I
That's
don't like.
hilarious.
Yeah, I never thought. So but you're not. Would you say you're an atheist then? In that sense,
I
if you don't.
I don't I like listen, if there is something after like a nice great surprise, like I wouldn't say no to benefits and
Yeah,
stuff. And if I burn in hell, I
I
burn in
mean,
hell. It's be like it was worth it, because I'm not gonna live my life and on related sources. And even if Jesus comes down and I can clearly see it's God,
yeah,
maybe in Judaism it's a monotheist religion. Sometimes God tests you, tells you
yeah,
kind
exactly.
of shit. So it's a null, it's a nil. I was like, I don't know if
I
you were
mean,
testing me or not. I was like, I have my value system and what I believed in. I believe in life, and
yeah, but for me, it's like I have to take everything into consideration. Like there are arguments for the existence of God. Of course, people, you have to look at like it's a cumulative case, right? You can whatever argument you want to use, the fine tuning, the
listen,
collab. They've been
like
all debated
here's
for years.
prayer. According to Judaism, prayer is for your soul. It doesn't work.
I don't know. Oh,
So there, So you have to live righteously, and there is no one you can ask favors from. It's just for yourself, you know. Just make your mind clear. Just make sure, like, just hope. Whatever you need, meditate. It's for yourself.
I don't
To
know about
accept.
like which are you? What kind of like Jew are you?
I'm a
I don't
Jew.
know, Orthodox.
That's Jew.
Yeah, but like if you talk about like the Judaism in like what kind of Jews are you talking about? The Orthodox, the sect, like the liberal. I know
It's not. It
some. I
doesn't
met
work
one.
that way. It doesn't work that way.
No, I mean you said there are some. The praying is for the soul. So I was just wondering which sect or which.
All of them. Orthodox.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I
It
never heard
depends
about.
what
Never heard.
rabbi you ask, but I think the majority would like agree that this is not. It's not like somebody sitting with a notepad is like, "Oh, what did you ask for? Oh, you sure?" Like
I mean, there's different
She's just
Right.
I
there's
just you
different
know I just
description of.
looked what rabbis were, and it seems like a good amount of them. So it's up to you, in a sense. Does it work?
I
Does it
was
not?
I would say another description I've been given is it's about building connection. It's about connecting with Hashem. It's not
Yeah,
Yeah.
about trying to
that's
change outcomes.
yeah,
It's
that's what
still
I'm
for your
saying.
soul. I'm just saying
Meditative.
that's the way I've heard it described.
So
Another way
here's
I've
what
heard
I
it
say:
described.
if
Not
if
disagreeing.
it's better for your psychic to believe there is a God, yes, there is a God.
Well, I'm not saying we don't want make believe, right? Because then it's not
By
true in
why?
that
Why
sense, right?
not? It is true. Money doesn't.
Because
Money is a fake concept,
yeah, but
but
yeah.
it
Well,
works,
it works, yeah.
and you
But
want it, right? So it's the same.
of course, that's life. But uh,
So just
I
if
think this
God
is
is
a very
doesn't is not real doesn't make it
yeah,
doesn't
but it's
make
like
it
it's a
like
deep
not
question,
real.
right? It's a deep question. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't believe you're here for no purpose, right? You Rebecca, believe you are here because you have a purpose, right? That's why you're here.
Yes,
Sorry?
because this is what makes me feel good, and that's good enough reason for me.
For me, I always ask the why, right? And not just about me. I mean, I want to feel good as well, right? But it's not only that.
Yeah,
But I
but I
agree
tell
with
you,
you.
if it works for you 100%, like 100%, I'm just saying that even if God appears before me and says something, I'll be like, sure, and I continue going the same way.
But
Like it
then
doesn't.
that's like being in ignorance, right?
No, it
No,
just doesn't
no.
matter. It
She's
literally
literally
doesn't
saying like
matter.
saying if God appears, she would believe that God exists, but she wouldn't become a follower of said God.
Yeah.
Do you see the difference? She
No,
no
well,
longer
I understand, but
she no longer be an atheist by definition.
yeah, but
However,
still.
based upon her current understanding of God, she still
Like
wouldn't
if
sort of
I use the
follow.
But what
Christian
would
God
you?
for a purpose, because if
Yeah.
we talk about the Jewish perception of God, then that would be a completely different hellhole of a conversation, which I don't really want to get into. This is why I use Jesus. If I used our God, then it would be so much more complicated. Because because
Why?
because
But wouldn't you want? Sorry, go ahead.
because if you think about, like, this is the thing of abstraction. First of all, you're not supposed to speak about God and what they can do, cannot do. But in a sense, what if we present it like God is like the life itself, like the force of life, or whatever makes us want to live and like make prosper and things like that? Then obviously I'm a follower already.
Yeah, but it's a more
So this
deep
is why
metaphor.
it's not the same conversation when it comes to Jewish God, which you're not supposed to speak of anyway.
That's nonsense.
That's true though.
It's nonsense. We talk about God all the time.
We do.
What do you mean?
We do.
Depends which Jew you ask.
But we do and we don't. We do and we don't. Like if you really follow the conversation, like, and really like see how Jews talk about God, then you'll see that it's a lot more abstract than it is concrete.
But you read the Tanakh, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole, yeah. I mean,
And
Our
I
God
mean,
is very
דיברה התורה
abstract.
בלשון בני
Listen.
אדם.
sorry.
The Torah speaks
I
in
joined.
language, like in the language of man.
Yeah, Adam. means man, humankind.
Mhm.
Some translated humankind. Adam.
So I joined the conversation because this is actually my current obsession. I've watched a lot of NDEs, near-death experiences,
Oh, me too.
and the
Mhm.
things that people come back with, it's mind-blowing.
Yes.
Well,
I think that's funny you mentioned that, Panda. There's a guy named Howard Storm. You know, people should check him out. Very interesting
Howard Storm.
testimony. Yeah,
I'll look him up.
he was like an atheist for like
Okay, so why
30
does
years.
it matter then? Like seriously, why does it matter?
No,
But
it doesn't.
you're not losing anything, Rebecca. I mean,
I
people say I don't
know.
want eternal life, right?
That's why I
Who
say it
doesn't want
doesn't
eternal life?
matter. Well, that's depend on your psychological like substance, you know. That's why I say, like you believe there is a something after because okay, sure. Like I said, like I believe you. I don't care. That's
Yeah,
my
but we,
approach.
as human beings, we don't believe we're here for no purpose, right? We want to know the truth. I mean,
Some
whatever the
people
truth
do.
is.
Like
That's your assumption. That's your
No,
assumption.
no. Well,
Mm.
a
everybody
lot of people
believes so.
believe that there is no purpose.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense because we still do things
To
that
you.
makes.
To-
No, but
to
you wake
you.
up, you have your breakfast, you go to school, you go to go to your job. Isn't
Yeah.
that purposeful? That's
No,
not purposeless.
other people told
Oh,
you to
that's
do those
boring.
things. Other people
Yeah,
told you
but
to do
then
those
you can kill yourself, right? If you don't want to do them.
I
I mean,
mean,
there's no purpose.
you could also
Yeah.
just not skip breakfast. You can also skip breakfast.
Yeah, but
I mean,
that
You can kill yourself. Yeah, exactly. If you decide that if you don't think there's a purpose and you decide you're suffering more than
All right.
anything else, you can choose to kill yourself.
What do you
Yeah.
think
but
then all the existentialist people, what do you think the eco people are like? They're all like that. Like
The what?
the Nazis, they
Yeah.
believed in death. They didn't want to exist. Like do
What do you
do you
mean?
think it's normal that the top Nazis killed their children by themselves?
What are you talking about? Who did that?
I don't know about that.
Hitler did
Never heard
that.
about that.
Hitler killed his
No,
children.
Hitler
never heard of it.
Hitler is a maniac. Who else?
well, first
Yeah, I
Well,
let's
mean,
Himmler.
And why
let's
did he do
first
that?
define
Because
existentialism for
because what because those who are like those who fight us believe that
Yeah.
life has no purpose, but some of them also like hate life.
Okay. I
And
don't
it's not
see
that it's not that
your point.
it's I'm just saying it's not a given. It's not a given that like some people believe that there is no purpose and some even hate like believe that life should go extinct.
yeah, some do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Goebbels,
subjective
right?
belief,
Goebbels.
but it's not the truth.
right. But what we're
Right,
saying
Goebbels.
is like
Goebbels killed his children. Sorry, not Hitler. Somebody correct me.
Who?
yeah,
Goebbels
Gabe.
killed.
the idea,
I knew I was like mixing up something. They were they in the same room or something? With
the
I
idea
don't know who that is.
the idea though is not being having the
the propaganda minister, Goebbels.
having the
Oh,
proper vision to see that when these people are rising in power and to be able to point at them and identify them as being existentialists and they're part of a death cult, like point out the death cult in whatever society they grow up in or they appear. Like this
Yeah.
is a death philosophy and call it out.
Apologize for calling you by the old name you used to have. I forgot because I've talked to you before.
What's
But I
that?
also want to say, yes, I know non-Jewish people can be Zionists and support us, and I appreciate the shit out of y'all. I wanted to say that real quick. I meant to say it earlier.
Sure, sure. And
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, it's more. I think yeah. I was hearing you talk, Chrome, and yeah, I was like, of course. I was like, of course, I agree that Israel should be able to protect itself, but it's I universalize like I grew up Christian, so I universalize all Jewish ideas to
I love you. I
so,
love you so much for saying that. Oh my
so
God. Thank you.
it's like
The more
it's
you
like
speak, the more I like you. It's not, you're Steven, right? We talked before. Or is it
oh,
someone else?
keep doxing me, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, I
But
feel there is a development. I like you more and more.
it's fine. It's it's like when you get it when the idea, if the idea is good, it should be spread, not because an individual person or people experienced it, but because it's a great idea. And I almost lost my thought, but
I mean,
it's
Judaism,
no, not Judaism, but the system, not Judaism.
the
And
culture,
like
the idea.
call it Gentilism, right? It's like Judaism, but for everyone. And it's not Christianity. It's not Christianity. It's more like a system of community that's for everyone, not just for just
I mean,
a good system that's for that everyone can participate in, and they can they can
It's
hold
funny.
life in high regard.
I
depends on which
talked about it with
countries.
AP today. Look at me name dropping.
So
Which what?
Judeo-Christian values, you mean?
What?
I didn't hear
But
I didn't hear what you said.
I
I didn't
said
hear what you said, Pam.
it's I
Judeo.
talk.
Oh,
Ah,
what?
no, I
Who?
said I
Me?
talked about it with AP today. But you can continue.
oh, a positive profit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I always like remark like, oh, and I'm learning more about Jewish people uh through Discord and other channels, but it's like all these
Dude,
Jewish
go to
people have
Israel, man. Go to Israel. I want to go to Israel, but it's war, man. All of these stupid wars. I
I
can't
it's
know,
go.
man.
Jewish
Listen, you
people.
gotta come. Right now. It's the authentic Israeli experience.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because I mean, I would feel like home, you know.
Yeah.
I
No, I
remember.
mean,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Continue. No, I was saying I had a friend like sometime like there was another war, and it was just like at the beginning of I feel like when Iron Domes. I don't remember who it was, but it was like we were young, like super young, and I convinced and my friend was coming from Germany, and she was like, maybe I should. I was like, are you joking? Everything's gonna be empty. You're never gonna have this opportunity, and then COVID happened, but whatever. I mean, I guess that means she couldn't come, but like, I was like, are you kidding? Everything's gonna be empty. We went to the old city. Nobody, like, usually you have to like beat people out, but no, you could walk everywhere. You just had to look
You
at
do
rockets
what?
exploding above your head
Beat
from time to
people out?
time. That's it.
Oh, Rebecca, you're not in Israel, right?
I am
Rebecca, you're
in
so violent.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying like you have to
Oh, you
elbow
live? Do you
people
live in
to
Israel?
in Jerusalem in the old in
You
the
live there?
Church of the Spectacle. Yeah, on
Wait,
the
wait, you live in
regular
Jerusalem?
times. No, but I'm saying my
Oh, you're
friend was
living in
coming.
Europe.
She was a tourist. No,
Oh,
my
yeah.
friend was
But
coming
you live
from
in.
Germany.
Yeah, I know. But do
At
you live in Israel right now?
yes,
Oh, cool.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. No, I'm just saying
But
it was like you cannot put a pin inside, and then because it was wartime, all you have to like you just see like rockets explode above your head several times. But you know, it's a small price to pay because you have the whole church like for yourself and stuff. I think that's awesome.
But so how is it right now? It's pretty okay, right? Nothing, no rockets. I mean, you know,
Depends on where you are.
yeah.
Yeah, the north is getting butchered,
Oh yeah, that's the Hezbollah. Yeah, basically.
and the north is a good
Yeah.
chunk of Israel. We have a very small country, so
I'm near Haifa, and we didn't have an alarm
Oh,
ever since the beginning. Like there was 2 alarms in the beginning, and it was a false alarm, thankfully. But then nothing. And I went to Aqua, and the streets were deserted.
crazy.
It
I'll
was
probably
really
go to.
sad.
So is Tel Aviv like? Is that a nice city?
I mean, yeah,
Tel Aviv.
I guess.
Tel
I'm
Aviv, yeah.
not a fan of it, personally.
What do you think,
I
Rebecca?
like.
I mean, it
Or maybe
depends on what you. Okay, so I have to be honest. Like I'm gonna brag now. Okay.
Okay.
So
go
I
ahead.
met a person. I'm not gonna
Good
name
for
them because I
you.
don't remember the name. In Chile. Random. Random in the hostel that I was staying. And I was like, yeah, blah blah blah, Israeli, blah blah blah, the usual. And then sometime, yeah, I visited Israel, and I was like, oh, what did you think about it? What did you think? Did you like? I was like, did you like Tel Aviv? Did you like Jerusalem? And he was like, I hated it. I hated Tel Aviv especially. And I was like,
Why?
he was like, with passion. I was like,
Why?
why? He was like, I never felt as like worse in my life. I was like, everywhere I went, I felt so ugly. What's wrong with you people? Why were everybody so good looking? I've never felt more insecure in my life. I hated every moment.
That's
That's
true.
funny. It's so funny.
That's a great laugh.
I know, right? I mean, he
That's
was
why I need to
laughing.
come back so I can.
I was like,
Yeah, I mean,
I need to
could
come
live
back
in
so I
Israel.
can change the numbers a little bit.
Imagine like Rebecca, if we had like the Assyrians, the Arabs, the Jews, all just living together, right? No wars, and all the.
Wars between us.
But yeah, we're gonna have. I don't know.
Oh, I wonder
That's
if we
how it
had
is, man.
Assyrians.
You
Assyrians
have
in.
some Assyrians.
We have a small community.
Yeah,
No, I
there's a
mean my
small.
cousin did my cousin did a DNA genetic test. And I went to my dad. I was
Oh.
like, hey, maybe you should do too. And he was like, we're a very small community. We all have the same DNA. If she did it, you're the same. You're gonna get the same.
I mean, you look a
No,
little bit
because not
Assyrian,
the same.
Rebecca.
But
I
parents.
mean,
no,
when
she
I
had
go,
she had 98. I mean, I'm half Ashkenazi, so I know this part. Like half would be 50%, but 50% would be the same as my cousin probably. Doesn't it like she had
Yeah.
Egyptian, like a good percent of Egyptian Copt? I was like, how did it get? Like how? I was like, and I was like, I think there was Assyrian there too, somehow.
Yeah, you look a little bit Assyrian. I mean,
I don't know how Assyrians
I
look
look
like, but
well. I look. People think I'm Jew because I have a big nose, but I'm Assyrian, so I was in Rhodes, and they usually think I'm Jewish. That you're from Israel. No, I'm not from Israel. But they think I'm from Israel.
but everybody here
Because if
has
I
a
say
big jaw. I'm
Assyrian, they don't
sorry, Arabs
understand.
have a huge noses.
Yeah, I mean, I look like a Mizrahi Jew. Like seriously, you know. Um,
What
Middle
kind?
Eastern.
yeah, Middle Eastern. Yeah.
I'm thinking, are you I mean, are you saying that my family is big nosed? I guess
No, your nose is
they
fine.
have a
You don't
nose.
have.
I'm I'm half
They
Ashkenazi
have
though, so
nose.
Sorry.
50.
I mean actually Ashkenazi
Anyway,
Jews also have big noses. I don't know what.
how did we get to this topic?
I mean, we were talking about the Holocaust, so it's a clear continuation. Like you talk about the Holocaust, and then and you cannot not talk about Jewish noses.
That's true.
I suppose.
You should be
Easy.
proud of.
How is it being like being Assyrian? Like, what does it mean? Like, when you speak Aramaic, is it
Yeah,
Aramaic?
yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, you say shalom, we say shlama, right? Same language. Same. It's just sister languages. We have
Yeah.
some similar words,
Mm.
And like, what's your religion?
well, we're
Christian?
Christians, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. But like the original Christians, not like Catholic.
No, they have their own it's called the Assyrian Church of the East. We're not in communion with the Orthodox, but well, the Catholic Church actually for them we are valid, right? So, the church split 1054, right? The Orthodox and the West and East schisms. But
So
before that, you had the minor schism.
you're like the OG.
Well, we claim that. We speak the language of Jesus,
Mm,
So we're kind of,
I mean,
that's the
it
thing.
makes sense.
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to learn. I should learn Hebrew, but lazy.
You have Duolingo. Can learn
But
there.
I don't know if Duolingo is good. I mean, the
It's
pronunciation isn't hard because Hebrew they have a lot of we talk like that too, right? So for me, it's like that's pretty. It's not hard to pronounce.
so what's the problem?
Lazy.
it's a
I want to
good
go to
problem.
Israel and go to school.
But you can study you can already go ahead and study the Talmud, and you have this edge.
Yeah, not the Talmud. I should start with the Tanakh, right?
No, the Tanakh is in Hebrew though. The only book that is in Aramaic is Daniel.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's true.
That's why I never bothered reading it. So we're in the same.
But it's just
We have the
well,
same
that
mindset.
Aramaic is old. That Aramaic, the Daniel Aramaic is old, right? We don't speak. Well, it's very similar to because our language is the Neo-Assyrian, so it's a bit modernized. Like
Yeah.
you could say, because Hebrew. Well, I think Hebrew has also had some modernization, right?
Well, it has a lot. It's just
Yeah.
that we read the Bible from a really young age. So at some point you get used to it, I think. I don't think I understood a word when I was little. I was just reading it. Then you read it again and again and again. And then at some point you start
Tanakh?
getting it. Yeah. The Tanakh.
Ah. Yeah, I just know like I can quote the Bereshit bara Elohim, right?
Oh wait, there is an
It's a shaman
important message
Betaret.
here. Shauna is
Sorry?
saying maybe us guys, maybe we have the normal noses and they're shrunk up in the cold. Thank you, Shauna, for your message. That's a good theory. Governor said,
Yeah.
have you seen the movie The Believer? It's one of Ryan Gosling's earliest roles and GOAT, FYI. No, I haven't, but thank you. Did you guys see
The
it, The
Believer?
Believer?
No. Is it about Jesus?
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it.
Sounds like it would be Jesus.
Yeah.
Why
I
don't they
bet he
make
had a big nose too.
why don't they
Yeah, I
make
think
movies
there's
about
nothing.
more Jews? Like, why is it always Jesus?
I
Jesus.
mean, he's the most popular Jew.
Yes.
I mean,
Even
there's
though,
a few.
even though I don't know if he
Munich
would
was a
have.
good movie about.
One at a time.
Yeah.
My bad, Rebecca. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was just saying there are a few. Munich was a really good movie about some Jewish people in the Mossad who did some great things.
Oh.
No, I mean from the Bible.
Oh, from the Bible. Oh, okay.
No, we have Prince
Other
of
than
Egypt,
they've
and
done
that's it.
Moses.
Yeah, there's like the Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
And there's one with Noah and with Emma Watson, like Noah's Ark.
Right.
That's it. I don't know any others.
How sad. How sad.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I'm not usually happy with how they depict us. So when they
No,
leave
they
us
do
alone,
a
it's alright.
terrible job. Most of the time, I want to shoot them. But yeah, they did a great job with the Prince of Egypt.
Rebecca, you're very violent.
I am. I know.
I gotta say.
It's my Georgian side. As people say,
Oh, you're
I
Georgian?
grew up in America, so I got that influence heavy too.
America. Do you speak Arabic as well, Rebecca, or do you just know a few words?
yeah, a little bit, just a few words
A
here
little
and
bit.
there.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah doesn't even
Inshallah.
It's Alif Alif.
Inshallah.
Alif Alif.
Yeah. Alif Lam
It's
Mim.
interesting how you listen to Arabs speaking like Arabic in Israel, and they throw in like Hebrew words. Like we
Oh,
do
yeah.
the opposite. Like we speak in
We have the
Hebrew,
same.
but then we say like halas and
Khalas.
mabruk.
Yeah.
But that's fun, you know. Tamam,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. No, tamam, we don't say.
It's like
You
it's
probably don't
mixed
say.
in.
How do you say like sachten?
No, we say
You know?
sahten.
Do you say sachten? Okay.
Yeah, we say
Like,
soften.
it depends,
But
like,
it's like kol hakavod, you know?
Kol kavod.
Kol hakavod.
Kol kavod. Okay.
Like, good job.
Oh,
Soften.
sachten. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I was listening. You remember that song, Tel Aviv song, right? And then it says Ya Habibi Tel Aviv. But I was like, do they say it Habibi? It's like I think he's a
Habibi.
Moroccan. Yeah, he
yeah,
says Habibi. He's a
Habibi.
Moroccan Jew. Habibi.
No, he's not a
You
Moroccan
you
Jew.
mean
He's a
the
Kafkaz Jew. He's from the Kafkaz.
So you can say
Adam.
Habibi, right?
I mean,
you mean the song from the Eurovision?
no.
Tel Aviv, Ya
No.
Habibi. No.
No.
No. Omer Adam.
Which one?
With
The
Arisa. For Pride.
Sing it.
זה שיר לגאווה.
I don't.
עולה לי,
No, I
עולה
don't.
לי, עולה ולא יורד לי. This one.
Yeah, exactly. That's the song.
Shana. And yet somehow you control Hollywood. Ironic. They should do a movie about the Jewish guy that funded the American Revolution. Not enough people know about him. I'll tell you what. The thing is that the Jews that are now in Hollywood, they just suck. So it's the wrong kind of Jews that control Hollywood. That's the problem.
Yahud.
Well, I mean, when you say control, it's an ironic thing because it's a market that was started by Jewish people. So it's not like it was a takeover or some crazy thing.
No.
It was created by Jewish people. I like someone's metaphor. I forgot who it was who said it would be like saying, why are there so many black people in hip hop? Well, hip hop was created by that culture. So
Yeah.
Hollywood was literally created by American Jewish culture.
It's
So
true.
of course there's a lot of Jews in it and connected to it.
The question is, why are there non-Jews in Hollywood? That's the question.
Rebecca. We like to include people.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. We shouldn't, especially not the
I know they're
woke
taking over.
It was a mistake, especially like the Jews in Hollywood. From the get-go, they were iffy, you know. They were like, "Oh, we want to be American, the American dream. We're gonna keep it just by our character and not by our ethnicity." Who cares what your character is like? Nobody cares about your personality, people. The only thing they look at is the size of your nose and how much Jewish.
Skin color.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I was always upset that even though we were such a big part of Hollywood, when our biggest patriarchs get portrayed, it's by non-Jewish people all the time.
I
That
know,
always bothered me
right?
growing up.
Also, like, what was it? Oh, I know this. The one with the atom bomb. It was a movie, recent movie.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Why was
What about
the
him?
main?
Yeah.
Why was Oppenheimer not Jewish?
Robert
They couldn't
Oppenheimer.
find a Jewish
actor?
actor to play a Jew. Oppenheimer.
I guess not.
The
like
actor was not Jewish. Wow.
yeah, it was Benedict Cumberbatch.
No.
But he's a
it-
good.
It
He's
was
a good.
what's his name? Not Benedict.
forgot.
Something else.
It was Cumberbatch.
It wasn't Benedict, but it was.
No.
He looks a lot like him. I know why you. I know why you're thinking that. He does look a lot like him.
It's Cillian
was that?
Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember his name, but he does look a lot like Benedict Cumberbatch.
It's got like really sharp cheekbones. But listen, in like casting for roles, you have to take into consideration that this man was a real person. So you can't just go by who's Jewish and who's not. Because if the person doesn't look like him,
excuses, huh?
no,
So
I'm
this
serious.
is how it's starting.
If it wasn't like that for everybody else, though, I would agree with you. But and if it was like for some fictional character, I would agree with you. If it's for someone who's not important to our people, I'd agree with you. But I feel like when they do roles that are important to anyone else's people these days, they make sure they get it right. But for us, they're like, fuck it.
Yeah,
like they have to apologize for being a part of Hollywood. They have to make concessions to the goy, because if they don't, then they won't be able to keep that that the goy are the majority of the people who are paying for it to facilitate it.
Or if they
Maybe
portray
I'm
Good
Jew,
wrong.
it's
point.
always this neurotic, pathetic kind of person that you just kind of want to, like that when you feel like if that you become like on the side of the bullies when you look at them. Oh, or like this, all the whole culture is about eating lox, bagel with lox.
What?
Like
I
they eat
lost you.
like the Americans. They eat like a toast, like a bagel toast with cream
Yeah.
cheese and smoked
Oh,
salmon.
yeah. It's good. I
And
eat it too.
yeah, so it's like the whole Jewish culture is basically that.
Yeah, in
There
When
was
it's
a
we're
portrayed, and a neurotic, annoying person that make you kind of
yeah.
cheer for the bully.
It, it's an image that they've definitely put on American Jews, especially if you look at the sitcom era and how American Jews are portrayed, and it's this whole assimilating, losing culture idea thing, and it's kind of terrible.
Yeah.
I I
see.
loved Seinfeld growing up, but when I look at the whole era and include some of that stuff, I look at the stereotypes and what Rebecca was talking about, and it's real. It's very much a playing down of please don't look at us different. We're just a little bit different, and but at the
Which
same time, to
yeah,
be accepted, playing into all the negative stereotypes of being that annoying, nervous. What you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah,
I also feel like
you've
Seinfeld
got a
would have done
point.
it different now from recent history.
It
By the way,
doesn't
there is a
hold up.
super chat I want to read. Look, one sec.
Oh,
Shana,
go
a
ahead.
great get the wasps out. Actually, it's really hard for Jews to get honest representation. The show The Nanny had to fight other Jews to get her character to be Jewish. They wanted to turn her into Italian. What's The Nanny? The show The Nanny.
Oh, that's a
Thank you for the
American
super chat.
sitcom.
Yeah.
It's an American sitcom in the '90s. It was really big in the '90s in
Mm.
America,
Never
and it was
heard of
about
it.
a Jewish
A nanny.
nanny who was a
It was
nanny for
about
a
a nanny.
British playwright.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you hear after that guy in the Oscars? What was his name? The Jewish guy that
I
That
don't
went
really,
ahead
what
and
guy
said
after
that we're
Oscars.
committing the genocide.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he said that, but he renounces Judaism and stuff.
Or no. Did he?
Um,
On
Yeah.
I didn't hear about this. Who that was? Who was that?
I don't
some
remember. Maybe Jonathan something.
some Hollywood. Oh, I have that. I used his face on when I was talking on my Einstein video. At the end, I was like, so Einstein used to call Jews that try to hide that they're Jews. He used to call them pussyfootings. Apparently,
What?
yeah, Einstein.
Okay.
The one that from the relativity thing, Albert Einstein.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he
Mhm.
hated when Jews pretended to be Germans or Americans. Like he hated that. He called it pussyfooting. And then I used this
Huh.
dude's photo as an example of like modern pussyfooter.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's the deal.
anyway, afterwards, uh, a bunch of Jews in the industry, like a few hundred Jews from the industry, they made an open letter and spoke against him and condemned him.
Right, right. What a
Yeah.
loser. Jonathan Glazer. Somebody wrote Jonathan Glazer.
Yes, 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 yes. Blazer.
Yeah,
And
wait, let
now
me.
there's another
I'm gonna
one.
look up what he said.
There's
Heroes
another
hate
woman who did that
pathetic
like
Jews.
last week.
You know what's the worst? I feel like he made a video about the Holocaust and then he renounced his said what he said.
Yeah.
Let me check. I'm gonna check. Okay, you
Which
guys
is a
continue
shame.
talking without me. I'm gonna not interrupt for a little bit.
Okay. So now that Rebecca is gone, can she
Rebecca.
still hear us?
Yes.
And
Aw.
you live in Israel as well?
Me?
Let me
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're Jewish?
Yeah.
Yahudi.
Yahudi.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, at least go ahead.
What? No,
No, I
go
said at
ahead.
least you have the weather. I don't have anything here. It's cold. Getting
I
cold now.
hate the heat.
No, I love it. I feel like home.
No. I mean, right now it's fine because it's getting a bit colder.
Oh yeah,
But
it's
in the middle of the summer, it's awful. Where do you
lovely.
live?
Sweden.
Sweden. Nice. Do you get a
Probably
lot
cold
of
all the time there.
anti-Semites on the streets?
Yeah. Well, that's probably more if you go to the south. When
Oh,
like I don't know,
like
here where I
to
live, there are not
Malmo?
many. And
You
yeah,
you literally went to the Arctic, far away.
like we're in
Shannon, do you think? Wait.
sorry.
Do you think it's different for Jewish men versus Jewish women? I feel like with the woman, it's more like trying to hide it. It's mostly the men. They try to make look weak, my outsider perspective. Shana, thank you for a super chat.
Wait, are you are,
Egoya had asked us a question about the difference between Jewish men and women with how they act. I don't know.
Like to like in another country, you mean?
Here, I mean, I guess you're talking about American Jews. Do you think it's different for Jewish men versus Jewish women? I feel like with a woman, it's more like trying to hide it. It's mostly the men. They try to make look weak, my outsider perspective. Oh, I think maybe when it comes to Hollywood representation.
Oh, um, I don't know. Never really thought about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you look at the portrayal of, if you're talking about Hollywood, if you look at the portrayal of like the nanny, she definitely showed a lot of the same stereotypes that they were showing in other sitcoms. So I would say that it was, even if it was different, had a lot of similarities in portrayal. Definitely make, like you said, definitely trying to make the men look weak, but and you could say that for the women, but at that point in Hollywood culture, they almost always made all women look weak. So that just made it no different for the women than other women, where that was a difference for men than other men.
What does a Jewish woman like? How do they portray Jewish women today?
I think as
Not
like
often.
I mean, not often. Yeah,
I feel like
I can't think of one Jewish woman in a movie
I mean,
that I know
Golda,
of.
but that, I mean, they portrayed her pretty strong, so that was a decent portrayal.
no,
Yeah,
she
but
was
that
not
was a
Jewish, she
real
was an
person.
Israeli.
What? She was Jewish?
Yeah, but not an
Huh?
American Jew. They don't portray
Oh,
Israelis and American Jews the same.
Oh yeah, you're
yeah.
right. You're right. I got
And
off.
she was
I
a real
changed it in on
person.
accident.
Hmm?
I mean, like
Um,
in fictional series and movies and stuff,
Oh, you guys
not
want to
real
hear what the
person.
asshole said? Jonathan Glazer.
it's
Our film
Sure,
shows. Hmm. So this
go ahead.
piece of continue yourself. I
Yeah,
think he made a video, like he made a film about the Holocaust or something. Anyway,
yeah. It was a
our
film
film
about the
shows.
Holocaust from the point of view of a family of one of the leaders, I think. So it was like they lived right beside the ghetto, and
Hmm.
like you could hear the screams of people being killed from the other side of the fence or something.
Cool. Did they
I didn't watch it.
popcorn?
I didn't want to support him. It annoyed me.
Neither.
Hmm.
Here's what I think. Our film shows where dehumanization leads at its worst, Glazer said. Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people, whether the victims of October 7th in Israel or the ongoing attack on Gaza, all the victims, this dehumanization, how do we resist? Huh? I think
Piece
they
of
had a
shit.
nice quote here. What a... First of all, I take the compliment as a Israeli who dares to, how did you wrote? Holocaust being hijacked by those, the descendants of those who experienced it, like, sure. By an occupation which has led to the conflict for so many. The thing is, like, he clearly talks about the whole of Israel, whether the victims of October 7th in Israel or ongoing attack on Gaza, all the victims, this occupation that had, like, led to conflict for so many innocent people. How can you be so
Rebecca,
deranged? Yeah.
I'm sending you the open letter in the chat, in the Discord chat.
Oh, what open letter? Oh, that they had. Oh,
To Jonathan Glazer,
got
if
it.
you want to read it.
Yeah.
I
Let
think
me
deep-seated
make it short.
hatred can allow people to use very flawed logic and ignore large amounts of history and logic. And that's what leads to
Here,
statements like that. Is deep-seated hatred.
I'm sharing that on the screen. Over 1,000 Jewish creatives and professionals have now denounced Jonathan Glazer's zone of interest Oscar speech in open letter. Yeah.
You gotta scroll a bit to find the actual letter. Oh,
Yeah,
they're
it's
talking
quite
about
interesting.
Nazi
Where's the
speak.
letter? The full
It's
statement.
down.
Yeah.
You gotta just
Let
scroll
me
down.
wait. Let me write.
Oh, the full statement.
Shauna Thornton says, that's what I meant by hiding it. They basically just whitewash Jewish women. There is so many of my articles I had no idea were Jewish. Oh yeah, 1%. Well, thank you,
Yeah, like
Shauna,
when
for the super chat. It's like I would go
they
to
portray
Hollywood and they say I'm in Italian,
the
which
amount of
apparently I don't
movies
look
or
like
TV
because
shows
never done.
about the amount of TV shows or movies actually about Jewish women in Hollywood right now. I can't even think of any in recent history. Like most of the time, if there's a Jewish woman, it's a background character.
True.
It doesn't really bother me, to be honest.
I can't even think of a character.
Not in recent, not in the last few years.
No, like ever. Like
Is it better?
a fictional character.
Is it
on
better?
TV.
Is it better or worse than being presented as like crazy woman?
Being ignored or presented terribly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like
I don't know.
maybe pretending we don't
so.
exist is better. Maybe they're preparing the ground for the time we really won't exist. The way it's going.
How about they just portray us better, and we may be a small population, but we do a lot of stuff. We're pretty cool,
Yeah, but we're too cool. They can't handle it.
True.
I feel like I quoted some Beyonce song.
Okay. Anyway, I think I'm going to go. My brain is melting.
Oh, so yeah, I think I'm gonna go too. I just want to share this very beautiful quote of somebody from the comment section. that when I say beautiful, I mean completely cynically, but I just enjoy the way he worded his stupidity. Aju
Okay.
is saying, Rebecca, the Jews in the 1940s faced the Holocaust. The present Jews are living because those Jews in history endured. Stop playing the victim in their name. First of all, for the record, I am. It's a weird thing to say because I feel like I'm a refugee. I was born like I was a refugee myself. Okay, so I don't have to go to the Holocaust. I'm a first generation
Where were you
refugee.
born? Where were you born?
Wait, you know something? I just realized they probably didn't hear you when.
What?
Where I
Where
was
were you
born?
born?
Russia.
In Russia? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you were saying you started talking. Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, I'm gonna read this monstrosity again, just because I appreciate the way it was written. Rebecca, the Jews in the 1940s faced the Holocaust. The present Jews are living because those Jews in history endured. Stop playing the victim in their name. I'll ask my grandpa what he thinks about it. I mean, it's not actually, to be honest, I don't have an immediate relative that went through the Holocaust, but they went through other stuff, you know.
Actually, sorry, I've for interrupting, but actually Stalin had planned to finish
Yeah.
finish what Hitler started. Like he actually had plans and orders written out on documents about reopening the concentration camps to finish what Hitler started. But before he actually signed the papers, like he just died from a stroke. So
Mm-hmm.
like no, but
Yeah,
that's
you
not like the reason why I'm saying this is because not many people know about that. Like there are people who mention this from time to time, but people don't realize like Stalin hated the Jews almost as much as Hitler did, if not more. Like he openly said to one of his friends that man, I really regret releasing the Jews from the camps. Like I actually hate them just as much as
No,
Hitler.
but it comes
Like he
from a
actually said this
different
to one of his
place.
friends.
It comes from a different place, though. It was just
wasn't
Yeah.
Karl Marx Jewish?
Yeah, his father
no.
converted. No,
Yeah, his father converted.
Karl Marx was an atheist. Like Karl Marx was an atheist, but his father converted to Judaism. It's
No,
like
his
oh,
father
his father converted to
left
Judaism,
Judaism.
but Karl Marx didn't.
No, he
Oh,
was Jewish and he converted to Christianity. His father, like he didn't grow up in a Jewish household, like he didn't grow up with Jewish traditions. But
And
his
his mom was
parents were.
Christian?
I think his mom was Jewish. I think he was Jewish. Like I don't know. I don't know if his mom converted to Christianity or not. His dad converted for sure. Maybe his mom too. I don't remember.
So
I mean, if she
ethnically, he was
didn't,
Jewish.
then yeah. But he didn't. I don't think he. I don't think it was a Jewish household. Like he didn't grow up knowing anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm correct, maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
anyway,
the other thing I want. Sorry.
yeah, I was saying,
Yeah, sorry.
beautiful.
Yeah, sorry. The other thing I wanted to mention, I think Chrome or one of the other guys mentioned that there probably aren't any pagans left in Europe, but actually, one of the I'm one of the members of the Uralic tribes, and there are many different groups in that tribe, and one of the tribes is known as the Mari people, Mari, and they are actually classified as the last pagans, officially the last pagans of the European continent. Like they are, their tribe basically speaks a dialect, practice a culture, and speak a language that is similar to the way Europeans were, and similar to the way Europeans spoke before Christianity came in. So they are actually they actually practice paganism. Like they basically offer food to nature. Most of the Uralic tribes were nature worshippers. And then you have other tribes who converted to Christianity, mostly Orthodox Christianity, but they kept their pagan practices in a way. So basically, what they do is, back in the old days when they were pagans, they gather in a circle. They would greet the sun. They would greet the nature. They would like, we give praise to we give praise to the sun, to the nature. But since they adopted Christianity, they sort of mixed pagan rituals with that. So they're like, so instead of praising the sun, they gather in a circle and say, well, let's give praise to Jesus for rising from the dead, etc. But basically, you have a Christian priest holding up a cross and say, well, let's praise, let's praise Jesus instead of the old God. Like, so it's kind of like pagan practices mixed in with Christianity. Like, they don't worship the old gods anymore, but they worship Jesus, but they just practice it with the pagan way. So there is still some pagan practice. Like, for example, even with us Hungarians, like there is an old belief in that when it thunders, it means God is angry. And like as a child, I remember my mother telling me, oh, every time it thunders, it means God or Jesus is angry at us. So, but however, the thing is that belief actually derived from the old pagan religion of Tengrism, because the Tengris, even Genghis Khan, believed that when it thunders, it means the sky god Tengri is actually angry. So, and that belief, that small belief, was incorporated into Christianity when the Hungarians were converted to Christianity. They said, well, we still believe that when it thunders, it means God is angry. It's just that we believe that this time it's Jesus or his father who is actually angry. So there is still, but yeah, like I said, if you want to look up what Europeans look like, sounded like, practice religion, like what their practices were like before Christianity came on back in the old days, definitely look up the Mari people, Mari. They're one of the Uralic tribes, like. And the other thing, and the other detail that people forget to mention is that the Holocaust, in a way, could have been kind of prevented, because when Hitler got the power and he started, doing what he did, like in Germany to the Jews, there were Jews who were like, okay, we need to get, there were Jews across Europe who were like, okay, we need to get out of here, we need to go to Israel. And the British were keen on that, but they didn't want to upset the local Arab population, because the Arabs were launching pogroms and raids into the Jewish settlements that were already there. So they tried to appease the Arabs that were living there. So it's like, so when I see that, it's kind of comparable today, because you have certain groups in Europe who are more keen to pleasing the Arabs, or they're trying to do everything to not upset the Arabs there, and instead they criticize Israel, which is it's a similar mistake that happened in the past, because if the British never gave in to the pressure, instead just allowed the Jews to go into Israel and escape before the Holocaust spread, the
I'm gonna
Holocaust wouldn't
cut
have
you.
been that
I'm
bad.
sorry, I'm gonna
So,
cut you. I have 3 things I want to do, and then I'm gonna finish.
no
Chrome,
problem.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but thank you so much for boosting the chat, for boosting the Discord. So I want to say thank you.
Oh, no problem.
And the other thing is, Rob, you're here. Perfect. I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you feel like the British presence, how did it affect the Assyrians? Was it more protection with the British presence around? Oh, and wait, before you answer that, I want to read because it's still the super chat, because it belongs to the topic before. Shana, thank you so much today. Yeah, you really are bombarding me, but thank you so much. Celtic Christianity is basically a hybrid religion. Yeah. That sounds cool. I like Celtic music. Thank you for the super chat. All right. Yeah, please answer now.
That's a good question.
And that's the last question, and I think we're gonna finish for today.
I'm not that much well read into it, but I remember that they were supposed to help us, I think, the British people, but
yeah, they were.
didn't.
That's what I'm saying. This is because I touched on it on my anti-Semitism video. I talked about the effect that also the Brits did protect communities, right? The Assyrians in Iraq, I know. Where are you from?
Well, my parents are from Syria.
Syria.
But
I know
originally
in
we're from
Iraq.
Iraq, I think,
So in Iraq,
because they
they
fled to
were
Syria.
planning a pogrom. So I think they
Mhm.
went like they managed to do like half what of like maybe less than half. I'm just joking, but like the Brits did like prevent like the Assyrian some Assyrian genocides when they were there. But I kind of
Yeah,
wanna hear what's your perspective of it.
that's hopefully they did. I mean, I should read more into that because there was the Seifo, if you remember, the 1920. Was it like it was World War One? I think they called the
Well,
Seifo, right? When they killed the 1915, is it? They
yeah, but
killed
that was
our
before the
people.
Brits, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's probably before. I think
No, I mean
I'm
when the
not
Brits
that
were
well.
there, I think there was a planned attack on the Assyrians in Iraq. Like there was a whole operation which they had
Oh,
stopped, if I remember correctly. Like it was something really big that
really?
yeah.
That's
There
why I
was an
always blame
Assyrian
the West.
genocide, but I'm saying like after the Assyrian genocide, like later on when the Brits already arrived, there was another planned genocide. Like
Oh,
it's funny to me. I don't. It's genocide, yes, but like to me it's problematic because I don't like the pogroms. You know the pogroms in Eastern Europe in the beginning of the century. Like they killed up to 500,000 Jews, like 500,000.
Mm.
So and that's
yeah.
not called a genocide. So when it comes to the Assyrians, like yeah, it was like maybe something, but maybe I should reserve the genocide, like the term genocide, for over 1,000,000.
Yeah, I mean, what would count as genocide, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's a question. Like,
crazy.
I
if it counts as genocide, then I think that what happened in Iran, like I don't think it was as systematic as it was with like
Yeah, not like the
Not what's
Holocaust.
I don't know.
happening in Gaza. Not
Yeah,
what's
sure.
happening in Gaza. That's not a genocide anyway. I'm
No,
gonna
no, wait.
go.
Yeah, okay. Bye now.
What?
Thank you for being here.
Leila
Wait,
Tov.
good
wait
talking
Bye
to
now.
for
you.
wait for
No,
Yeah.
that's
what?
it. That was my last thing. I was like, I just wanted Rob to finish that, and there are no topics after that. We're all going to sleep. I mean, you
Oh,
do
okay.
you,
Yeah, I have
but
to
I'm going to sleep.
work tomorrow.
My
Everyone's working
brain is
tomorrow.
melting, so I'm quit.
I'm really
Um,
hungry.
Yeah.
I'm famished.
I just want to say, Rebecca, I have a problem.
Yeah.
Uh, 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 my AC remote has run out of batteries, and I don't have batteries, and it's annoying.
And this is a good
So
reason
do
to leave
something
Israel,
about
if
it.
you ask me.
True.
Different
I'm
country.
going on Christmas to Germany, so it's gonna be a change of weather.
But yeah, that would be from
But I can,
mildly cold to very cold. But sure. Like,
yeah. But the
oh well,
problem is,
global
I want to
warming.
close the AC, and I can't close the AC. So what am I supposed to do?
I don't know.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Good night, everybody.
But
You're not very
Yeah.
helpful.
good night.
Wait,
Shalom,
Okay.
Rob.
shalom.
Rob, do you have
Yes.
anything you want to say?
Lila.
And do not
Oh
interrupt.
yeah, I
No
mean,
ACs and
Oh,
nothing. That's it.
I should. I'm not sorry for not giving you like a proper response, but like I'm not that read into like World War One and what. I mean, I know what happened to my people, right? Maybe not that specific, I would say. I know about the 1915 before the World War One. You know that they had the Kurds, the
Yeah.
Turks, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
And the
yeah, we
Arabs
kind of
too.
also been persecuted like the Jews in a sense, but probably not like the Jews. I don't know.
I want to
You
give a
know.
shout out, if I can.
Go ahead.
Can I?
If it's short.
Sure. To Next Level Soul podcast. It's really cool. Very enlightening.
Oh,
It's
I'm sorry. That's it.
what?
That's it. That's it. Short.
Okay,
Thank you.
fine. Go check it
No,
out.
that's
And
it. We're out. No, don't.
very
Please
cool.
don't. I don't know what it is. I don't want, like, not this kind of, I don't
It's
like
about
promoting things
it's
that I'm
about
not aware
near
of.
death
It doesn't matter.
experiences and
Please don't
stuff.
do it. Please don't do it.
Okay.
Please ask me before.
Okay.
Just because like I trust you, but in general, please don't do it. Thank you. All right,
Okay.
guys.